What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Ragsdale Rumble, our college pick show featuring the Herb and Rodg podcast. I have Herb Ragsdale and Rodg Ragsdale with me. Obviously, the Ragsdale brothers. They will pick games. We are going to do 5 every week coming forward until the end of the college football season. See who knows their college football better. They are playing for that trophy right there in the middle. So good luck to everybody. We'll introduce first off, Rodg. What's going on, brother?
I'm doing fantastically splendid on this beautiful Thursday evening. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing well also, and we will swing over to Herb since he asked everybody. I won't just monopolize the entire time. Herb, how are you doing, sir?
Man, I just got to say, you guys are two good-looking gentlemen, man. It's a pleasure to be on the same stage with you guys, man. I'm saying this, two legends. I'm just trying to hold my own over here. Appreciate you both.
Thank you.
Well, we appreciate the kind words. Hopefully, everything is going well for you. Also, hopefully, getting ready for that trip down to Tallahassee. I know you're about to make your way. Both of you guys are about to make your way down there for the game on Saturday. Hope everything goes well. Not only with the game, but with your travel. So we will get right into the college. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said, looking forward to it. Let's go.
Like, yeah, wish I could be there with you, but I just wasn't in the cards this time. Maybe next time.
Next time. Birthday weekends, they'll have a way of throwing off everything.
Yeah, kind of. But we will get right into it. 5 games, week 1 of college football. Luckily, there wasn't a whole ton of great games, so it was easy to pick 5 out of the slate. It will get infinitely harder as we go along to pick the 5 best games that we think. Make sure you guys let us know. Make sure you follow the Herb and Rodg podcast on X. Let us know what games you want us to pick each week. We will try to get as many of them in as possible as well. But let's begin. Starting off with Notre Dame versus Miami. We'll start with Rodg. Who you got and why?
So Herb and I had a Notre Dame pundit on our show, and he kind of gave us some more insight into the program going into 2025. Two of them. Yes. And gave us some insight into their defense. I think at the time they hadn't announced the quarterback. They obviously CJ Carr won the starting quarterback battle there, but he talked about how good their defense is going to look, how solid the secondary is going to be. Jeremiah Love returning. And then obviously on the other side, University of Miami, you got Carson Beck, transfer quarterback from Georgia. He's looking to kind of build up his resume before he enters the draft next year, if he enters the draft next year. With that being said, I'm taking Notre Dame because I feel like defensively they're going to get the big stops that Miami can't get. I do feel like Miami is going to put up a few points, but down the stretch, third quarter, definitely in the second half, I think Notre Dame's going to get those huge stops. And I don't think Miami's going to be able to stop Notre Dame's running game. So I'm going to go ahead and take Notre Dame to win the game.
All right, Herb, do you agree or do you think it goes to the Hurricanes?
Rodg used the word pundit and nobody that was okay. Mm-hmm. Everybody's all right with that. Like, what is going on? Bit.
No, I don't know what it means, so I can't say whether it was right or wrong. So I couldn't say anything either way.
No, he used it correctly and everything. Like that word of the day, toilet paper, is really paying off. So, yeah, I'm not a believer in Beck to Miami. I do think Notre Dame will be the more physical team. Like, I don't think this will be an exciting game by any measure. I know they announced Carr as the I was gonna say the president, but the quarterback. But I think all right. So they're going to do physical. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play defense. You'll see a lot of punts, and they'll just make enough plays to beat Miami. So I don't think it'll be great. I think it'll probably be a sloppy opening game. But if you have one team who's kind of relying on their quarterback in a sloppy opening game, and you have one team that's going to rely on run game and defense, I'm taking that other team. So I'm going to go Notre Dame in this first game.
All right, very good analysis. Thank you very much. Moving on to our next game, TCU in North Carolina, kicking off the Bill Belichick era in Chapel Hill. Herb, you're up first on this one. Who you got and why?
This is kind of I guess, interesting. I guess TCU is favored by just a couple in this one. Does North Carolina come out swinging? You've heard more about the off-the-field stuff for North Carolina and the girlfriend than you have anything about playing wise and what they're bringing to the table. And TCU, they just never recover from that shellacking by Georgia. It's amazing how butt whooping sets your team back so many years. But I'm gonna say the excitement of what being at home. I hope this is at home for Notre Dame, first game of the year. They start the era off with 1-0. Bill Belichick gets his first college win, and then it probably goes downhill from there. And everybody's like, oh, but for one day, they're going to say, we're winning the ACC. I'm taking North Carolina to win.
All right, Raj, do you agree?
I do agree with what Herb said regarding hearing certain things about North Carolina's football program. All I know is that, Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, the thing going on there. Other than that, I don't know anything else regarding UNC right now. Not too familiar with what's going on there. I will say that TCU, they did get shellacked by Georgia a couple years ago. They were 9-4 last year. Didn't have a bad season last year from a record perspective. I know was TCU's favored by 3.5. I'll go with TCU to pull off the upset here. And I wouldn't consider this an anti-Herb pick. Just when you look at this game, kind of to Herb's point, we're just looking at this game like I honestly don't know. I think it's a swing. It could go either way, but I'll just pick TCU to win this game.
All right, so and that's kind of the point.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of the point for some of the games that we'll pick here, just because the line is close. Obviously, there's more interesting game with more interesting teams, but the lines were a lot more out of whack, and I figured it would be an easy pick for each of you.
Yeah.
I think the biggest line we have when I looked at it was only like 8 for one of the games. So I tried to keep them fairly close. So there will be some teams that are just a little out there. But moving on to our next game, which is not two of those teams, it's two that we should know very well, and this is the one that was the biggest spread of the game. I want to say South Carolina was by 8 when I looked at it, but it is South Carolina and Virginia Tech in the Beamer Bowl. Roger, up first on this one. Who you got?
I'm going to go with South Carolina. I'm more familiar with what their program could do. Saw what they did last year. Almost pull up the upset in Tuscaloosa. Lenore Sellers is coming back. Dylan Stewart's coming back. I know what kind of program South Carolina does. They've proven to me what they can do on the field. I'm not sure where Virginia Tech is going to start off with this season. I'm not sure how rocky of a schedule they're going to have this year. I'm going to go with something that I'm familiar with which is South Carolina's football team and their offense. I don't know if South Carolina's defense is going to be as strong as it was last year. Obviously, they do have Dylan Stewart coming back, but I don't know as far as any other pieces outside of that. But with that being said, I feel more comfortable picking South Carolina this game, so I'm going to run with South Carolina.
All right. Herb, who you got?
This is the one where if I thought we had no disagreements, I was going to go anti-Raj just because. But, it's at South Carolina. They are the only thing that bothers me in South Carolina is the expectations. And that was actually a valid question when we had a South Carolina pundit on our show. So it's like I'm fighting the urge. I even typed in, can Virginia Tech upset South Carolina? You know what? Why not go bold early?
Okay.
Might be a dumb anti-Raj pick, but Virginia Tech on the road, South Carolina looking at bigger things. They lost a lot on defense for South Carolina, and I think they're putting too much on Lenore Sellers' shoulders. I'm gonna go with Virginia Tech in the upset at home. I mean, on the road.
On the road.
If they lose, though, I'm blaming everyone else but me. Everyone else but me. Anybody. Pick anybody.
The utmost accountability. I like that.
Yes. I'm going to take Virginia Tech. Probably regret it.
Yeah.
I might not release this video until after this game, so I can see
how fitting.
They'll release this game and they'll be like, "Hey guys, there were only 4 picks. Like, what happened? Y'all didn't have a 5th game?"
Good stuff. So that is actually 2 disagreements out of 3 games. So it looks like we're starting out with a good week 1. Moving on to the next game, it is the LSU Tigers versus the Clemson Tigers, the battle of the Death Valley. Herb, you're up first. Who you got?
I mean, this one all comes down to, first you have 2 Heisman candidates in this game. You don't know what LSU's defense is. They did remake themselves. I think they had the number 1 transfer portal class. But you throw out all that stuff. LSU sucks in opening games. I mean, what are we going for, 6 in a row at this point? It's at Clemson. Clemson has high hopes for this season. I think all their toughest games are out of conference, where you take this and you take South Carolina at the end of the year. So, but the ACC, which always seems like it's one team away from just falling apart, would love to make a huge statement against LSU. LSU, I don't think practices in the fall and probably not half of the summer. So they're not really ready for this game. And that's really where it comes down to. I'm going with Brian Kelly and his ineptitude, and I'm taking Clemson in this one.
Good pick.
He's no pundit, Raj.
Raj, do you agree with the doubt of Brian Kelly and going with Clemson, or do you think you
surprisingly I agree with everything Herb just said? Everything that came out of Herb's mouth was smooth and solid and extremely accurate. LSU has not won a season opener this decade. I think this,
you like saying that one, huh?
I did. I think LSU is going to lose again. I do think this has a capability of being a high scoring game. Both quarterbacks might end up in the Heisman race towards the end of the season. Apparently, Garrett Nussmeier is supposed to have an all-world season this year. Same with Cade Klubnik. LSU should be returning a lot of starters on defense. And past 2 years, their defense hasn't looked as solid as it had years past. But I think this year things should turn around for LSU. But then again, on the other side, Clemson's going to have a top 5 defense as well. And with Clemson being at home, I'm going to take the home team to spoil LSU's opener, and I'll take Clemson.
All right. Next up, we had to go to the big game, the main event of the week. You have Texas taking on Ohio State. Roger, up first. Who you got?
Look, we all know about the hype coming into this game. Arch Manning is supposed to throw for 20,000 yards, 400 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions this year. He's
in this game?
Just not throughout the season. He's going to win the Heisman. Paul Feinbaum said he's like the greatest quarterback ever since Tim Tebow. Blah 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 blah. We get it. The other side of the ball, you got Julian Sayin, a former Alabama product. And if Julian Sayin plays well, yes, we are taking credit for it.
Those times he almost played here? We love him.
Exactly. Obviously, he's going to have the number 1 wide receiver in the country in Jeremiah Smith. And then on the defensive side of the ball, there's the other guy that's one of the best safeties in the land, a name we do not speak of anymore. Ohio State being at home.
Who you're talking about.
Ohio State being at home, I think this is going to be a really, really close game. I'm going to go with Ohio State at home simply because I want to see Texas lose.
Yeah.
All right. Herb, you got?
Yeah, I got to go with Ohio State. Like you said, it's not even really just picking Ohio State. I am picking against Texas. I do want them to fall flat on their face. There is no SEC love around here. I do think it will be a low-scoring, tight battle. I think Arch's first game might, come out a little rough. Not sure, honestly, what I expect from Sayin because I think the Texas defense will be tough also. But I do think there's going to be 1 or 2 plays where he just tosses it up in there and hopes Smith comes down with it, and that will maybe be the major factor in this game. But Ohio State does have one of the best core, trios in the country anyway. But I think they're going to do just enough. I don't think this will be pretty. I don't think this game is like going to live up to the hype as far as like, oh, that was exciting. But I think, if you like defensive battles, it'll be kind of similar to what we just saw in the playoffs. But I think Ohio State ekes out a win here.
All right, that is all 5 games we have. Everybody going with Notre Dame, Clemson, and Ohio State. Herb picking North Carolina and Virginia Tech. Raj with TCU and South Carolina. So a lot of chance to have a couple different points go either way. But we can't get out of here without talking about our game. We don't really, pick it, but obviously we want to talk about it. What do you guys have a feeling on a score for the FSU Alabama game? Herb, we'll start with you. Final predictions.
This is a tough one because it feels like after we say this, we're gonna lose another player somewhere in there. It's just gonna be like, what is going on? Are we snake bitten? But I think we've been consistent all along. I think we start off a little slow, but I think the defense is solid throughout. I wouldn't be surprised to see FSU score early just because I know Gus has planned a whole lot of stuff and a whole lot of craziness. But I think we buckle down. I think Ty settles down. I think the running game actually does get going, even down, starting running back and a starting lineman. And I feel like we just kind of wear them down. And I could see somewhere in like a 31-14-ish kind of thing towards the end, somewhere in that range. So, but I think it's a comfortable win by the end.
All right. Raj, thoughts?
My initial prediction was 35-14. I think when we discussed it on our Tuesday night podcast. And then obviously, we lost Tim Keenan. The weather apparently is like a 60% chance of rain, 50 to 60% chance of rain Saturday. I don't know if how much that's going to change over the next 2 days. I don't know if it's going to rain during the game, if the field's going to be wet, etc. Regardless of that being said, I still see us, to Herb's point, I think it's going to be tight first quarter. I think midway through that second quarter, we get some huge stops, kind of build up a lead, take the lead going into half, and then kind of close it out in the second half. So I'm going to stick with 35-14. Would not be surprised if we don't hit the 35-point mark due to the field conditions, though, and then we have to run the ball a little more as opposed to pass. But 35-14 is where I'm sticking at right now.
Can I go with 34-13 then? I think that's what I want. 34-13 is my
34-13 it is. I changed it on the paper. Not that it means anything because it doesn't account. Right. It doesn't affect the score either way. So
right.
So coming up this weekend, obviously you guys are normally doing the Herb and Rodg Unhinged After Dark. Any updates on how that's going to work this weekend with you guys both being in Tallahassee? Or are you guys going to do on location?
Man, still depends on the hotel Wi-Fi. So.
Yeah. We have no idea. Once we figure it out, once we get there tomorrow and we figure out the Wi-Fi situation, we'll try to go from there and game plan for Saturday. But as of right now, not quite sure.
Yes, there will be hydration involved.
Yes.
Either way, though.
Yeah,
we will hydrate.
100%. I will have to do some hydration with you guys here from the home state of Alabama, just to keep up. Plus, I got to kill some of that bottle we had last Saturday, so we got to get. But you heard it here. Last update. Make sure you guys follow Herb and Rodg, the Herb and Rodg Pod on X, to make sure you get any updates on when and if there is going to be Herb and Rodg Unhinged After Dark after the game, the post game show. Also, stay tuned for the Bama versus the World FSU edition. Very interesting interview with a Bama pundit and an FSU pundit on Bama versus the World FSU edition coming up on the Herb and Rodg channel. Thank you guys so much. Good luck and have a great trip.
All right, appreciate it,
guys.
Roll Tide, guys.
Everybody.
Roll Tide.